Let's get right into it. Our prospect rundown presented by Applebee's, the Chris Simms 2021 Draft Linebacker Rankings. From Missouri, Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton, that's right. I mean, and he will be bolting through the line of scrimmage if he sees a hole to go tackle a running back. You know, here's another guy. He's not going to have a problem. I've seen enough of him to go, wait, he's seen run concepts between the Alabamas of the world and things like that in the SEC that he's going to be completely comfortable. We're talking smaller, explosive, you know, tightly packed in type of linebacker when we're talking about
5'11",
Bolton, right.
237.
Yeah.
Compare him to Devin Bush.
Sure.
Very physically similar.
Very
correct?
physically similar. There's no doubt about that. You know, I mean, there's almost the way they run is a similar style. The way their body looks in the uniform is a similar style. Except I would just go, Devin Bush's is greater. Devin Bush's is the explosion was really special with Devin Bush. When you talk about, and you know, again, hey, vertical jump, the 40-yard dash, they kind of show that. You know, Devin Bush's legs were special legs and ass that Nick Bolton doesn't have. Devin Bush's ability to accelerate was of a top running back in the NFL. You know, let alone when you have that kind of vertical jump power, you know what that tells me, like with the Devin Bush and everything like that. When you have that kind of stuff, that they are able to, I'm in a total standstill in the hole, and here comes Derrick Henry, and he's running and I'm not. I'm just planted. And now that ability to like squat and like drive those hips forward, that's where the vertical leap, if you want to talk about how you can kind of take things and go, wait, how does that work to the field?
Right.
That would be the one thing. But Bolton,
how does he make up for
similarities?
that?
He's not going to be able to do it to the extent of what Devin Bush did. There's a reason Devin Bush was, you know, the number 10 pick in the draft and everything like that. That's why he's special. But I think, like, to your point there and everything, there's similarities as far as the read and react ability. That's where he'd probably have to make up for it a little bit. Have to be ultra awesome with his brain. But he is a guy in where, hey, he diagnoses things and he comes downhill and he's going to smack you. I love that about Nick Bolton. I mean, there is any way possible, ooh, can I hit you as you're falling down? I'm going to get in there and get my hit in. So
it might
I
not
love
be
all that stuff.
with the most force, or is the same amount of force as Bush, but he's given everything he has.
He's not afraid to mix it up.
Number 4, another LSU linebacker, like a factory there. Number 4, JABRIL Cox.
JABRIL Cox is, how do I want to explain him to start? First off, a freakish-looking stand-up middle linebacker. That's what it is. And I'm just trying to paint pictures of what the guys look like in their uniform. He's the guy that I think is closest to looking like Isaiah Simmons, all right, as far as, you know, the look in the uniform and what they are as a specimen that way.
6'3", 232 pounds.
Yep.
Transferred to LSU last season after graduating from North Dakota State.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. His body looked the part.
Right.
But you always had the concern, like, will he play the part at a big school?
And he did. And there was a little bit of adjustment period, like early on. And I think, listen, that's going to be a positive too. Teams are going to look at it and go, wait, he went from, you know, real good 1AA to big time Division I. He played at a really high level, and he got better as the year went on, I think, with adjusting with how he's going to play. But like freakishly smooth, awesome-looking athlete. That's where the conversation starts. He's one of those guys where you just turn on the film and you go, wait, who's number 19 standing up in the middle there? He looks really awesome in his uniform. Now, LSU has a few of those guys, no doubt about that. But just like extremely smooth with everything. We talk about the coverage and the inability a little bit with Nick Bolton and things like that. Man, this guy is silky smooth, and the ability to flip the hips, coverage, find the ball, do those type of things. It's really good. You know, so space, the game of in space, the passing game, the screen game, all of that. I mean, JABRIL Cox is off the charts good as far as that's concerned. So you're not going to ever have to worry about anything like that.
Number 3, out of Tulsa, Zaven Collins.
Oh, baby. Zaven Collins. I mean, listen, to me, this is where we get into special. All
even
three
bigger,
of these guys.
even bigger than JABRIL Cox.
I know. I mean, significantly bigger.
6'5", 259.
Oh, big old smooth boy here. The big old boy. I mean, that's really what he is. And again, to paint a picture about what the guy might look like, a little, in his uniform. The closest thing I can get to as far as stand-up middle linebacker or anything like that would be like a Dante Hightower when he came out, maybe a Jamie Collins for the Patriots, and that's what this guy is. This guy's a 3-4 middle linebacker. 3-4 teams are the ones that are going to like him. To be 260 and be as athletic as he is, the ability to change direction and flip the hips and coverage and do all that stuff, it's special. You don't see a lot of guys that are 260 that can come along and do this.
Yeah.
So you have all that aspect to go, wait, he's this big. All right, he moves like that. Now what's he do at the line of scrimmage? And he's awesome at the line of scrimmage. You just, again, for that size, he can stone cold stop big-time offensive linemen in the hole and go, nope, that's it. It stops here. And now the running back's got to go through this little narrow gap here because I've stopped it. You're not going to just blow this wide open. So he's great at that. He's special at taking on blocks and doing that. And the 3-4 teams are going to love that. Again, for the fans out there listening, 3-4 teams, you're going to have some plays and some defense alignments where, unlike the 4-3 teams, the guards are uncovered. They're going to get up to you. You're going to have to take on a free guard who's got a free run at you.
Yeah.
And you're going to not get blown back. Or they, like you see, like the Patriots do sometimes, they'll ask you as a 3-4 middle linebacker sometimes to stand right in there in the A-gap and be like, no, we need you to, stop the A-gap if they block down or double team you. And that's the things he can do, added on to that too.
At number 2, out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Oh, baby. This arguably my favorite watch in the whole draft, I think. It's
Any
up there.
position?
Up there. It's up there. If you just want to see speed, explosiveness, craziness, I don't give a shit about my body. I'm going to throw it around and try to make a tackle. I don't give a damn if I missed a tackle either because I tried to dive 3 gaps over to do it. Any of that. Then Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is your guy. He's your guy. First off, this is the first thing I'll say because, again, I'm trying to paint pictures of all these guys, at least to start it with. I don't know. He could be Darius Leonard or Fred Warner. He could be Derwin James. You tell me who you want him to be. He could be Darius Leonard or Derwin James. They're basically the same. One guy's a safety, one's a linebacker. They're basically the same height and size, except one's a safety and one's a linebacker.
So you're not even saying he could be a good linebacker, a good safety. You're saying he could be an elite linebacker or he could be an elite coverage guy.
They could figure that's where I think the beauty of this player is here, where he is going to be amazing to matching up with 2 tight end sets or all the different personnel sets we see in the NFL, to where you're just going to always go, wait, we got him in. Okay, he can cover. Oh, wait, he can get in the box and stop the run. There's nothing to his game that he won't be able to fit in with.
Could it be an Isaiah Simmons problem, though, where it's you get him and you're like, oh, man, how are we going to use him?
No, because you got to see him definitively in a linebacker role here. It wasn't like he was playing free safety. It was a good question. It really was.
Pete gave me that question, but I delivered it in a great way, I thought.
Great way. You got to be careful with Pete. But no, this is a guy that you truly got to see in a spot, and you got to see him thrive in that spot, and then go above and beyond in a lot of areas too. Okay. No, I'm not going to lie.
And maybe people saw what happened with Simmons, and they're like, okay, let's not let that happen with him.
Yeah,
let's know how we want to use him. But if you, like you say, it doesn't almost matter sometimes.
No,
he'll do well in multiple roles.
Do well in a role that's somewhere near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He's up there.
Head scratcher.
Yeah.
How did you put Micah Parsons from Penn State over him?
Well, Micah Parsons is special. And, again, even though, Koramoah might have been maybe a hair more of a fun watch, it doesn't necessarily mean I think it's going to translate better to the NFL. And don't get me wrong, Parsons was a really fun watch, too.
Sure.
Parsons is your traditional stud. That's why. I don't have any questions about, where I just talked about Koramoah, we talked about the size and things like that. Yeah, I got a little concerns about that. There's no doubt about that. There's a deficiency there to play the linebacker position.
6'3", 246 for Parsons.
See, there's nothing. There's no, like absolute zero physical questions you have about Micah Parsons as a football player.
Hand size 11 inches, which is in the 100th percentile. 40-yard dash was 4.39 in the 99th percentile. Broad jump, 126 inches, 93rd percentile.
So that's what I mean. You're talking about a guy here that is arguably, again, more athletic than Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, or at least on par with him, right?
Yeah.
And then you go, wait, he's also 30 pounds heavier. And that means he can do, more things in between the tackles, and you can expect more of them in those type of situations and things like that. But, I mean, great looking body. I mean, first off, right off the bat, length, stoutness, athletic. I mean, everything you want like a middle linebacker to look like.
That is the Prospect Rundown presented by Applebee's.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.